Alright, I might be live now, I don't know. Let me check. I have chat open if someone in chat wants to tell me if I'm up. Yes, I'm up. Alright, cool. Okay. I am Voetiem, here filling in for Hekigan, since he could not make his Mirror's Edge run. So I'll be doing it instead. Yeah, this is Mirror's Edge 80% for the PC. And yeah, I guess I'll just jump right into it, explain it as I go. I guess you're ready on the countdown, so I'll just start now. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, we're gonna do the hardest trick in the game. It's called training skip. That was it. You essentially skip training. And right, so this game is a first-person parkour platform FPS game. And being a parkour game, it has a lot of interesting tech. Alright, so the first thing you're going to see me do here is that I turn myself 90 degrees to the right and do like a jumping action. It's called a side jump boost. Basically that uses the game's dodge mechanic. Because when you're in combat you sometimes need to dodge enemies because your camera locks on and that dodges away from them. But it turns out that if you do that you actually increase your speed to the maximum speed instantaneously. So if you continue running out from that trick, then you have full speed. And the next trick we're going to use here is called a wall boost. Basically we look into a wall and jump out of the wall, and that gives us a really quick speed boost that's used all throughout the run. And the major glitch, which you're going to see here, called a kick glitch, and that's basically the main speed tech of this run. It's another combat move, the war run kick, which is used to aid in disarming enemies. But it turns out if you do a war run kick either on the ground or off the edge of a building, it spawns an invisible platform under you for a frame. And if I just need an audio key there. If you manage to jump on that frame, you will gain some extra distance and speed, and that is used for those reasons. And in order to hit that frame, we bind our scroll wheel to jump, and that allows us to consistently do it. So that's the 3 main glitches of the game. There are a couple other minor ones that I will explain when they come. And the cool thing about this game is you can chain a lot of movement together. So there you just saw me do 2 wall boosts consecutively, and then a side jump and a wall boost. And there I just did another glitch. That's called the use glitch. And essentially what you do is you bind your other mouse wheel direction to the use input. And if you do any animation such as a slide or a jump into the button and then scroll your mouse wheel to spam the use button, it will skip certain animations for elevator buttons, and we use that to do a couple other glitches and a few skips. So here's the first instance of an out-of-bound glitch. What we're going to do is kick glitch into a load trigger, and that'll load the next area of the map. Unfortunately I missed. But what that does is loads the next area and unloads the previous area. And that will allow us to go out of bounds and skip a small section of vent crawling, which is very handy. I'm gonna use reaction time here because I really don't want to miss this. Where we just do a kick glitch wall boost there, and we land out of bounds onto the slide since it extends underneath the building. And some other stuff. You can bunny hop to gain speed, which is just running forward at full speed and jumping. That saves little bits of time here and there. And you might see me, well, you will see me coiling my legs up towards my body, and that's just called coil jumping, and that's used to clear gaps, and it helps increase with speed in some points of the game. So up here, we're going to do what's called an elevator clip. First of all, we're going to jump over these guards. What we're going to do is we're going to do that use glitch into the elevator, and then backflip into the corner, and that'll clip us through the top of the elevator. And basically we just fall into that load zone and the world balloons around us. And that's saves us having to wait for the elevator doors to open. I'm going to attempt a kick glitch chain here. Got it, that was pretty nice. It's quite difficult, it only saves 5 seconds. But a lot of this game is just optimizing your movement and you know, doing a certain speed trick here and there, just to cut down your time. Because this game is, at a high level, is not a lot about skips, but a lot about how you move. Small little movement things really add up, and that's what makes this game so interesting to run and so fun to run and fun to watch as well. Some more guards. We don't actually do any combat in this game, or we do 2 little bits of combat that are forced as part of the story, but here we're gonna skip a small section of climbing by just kick glitching over this gap here. That's the end of chapter 1. Coming up is one of the big skips of the game that I'm going to attempt. It's called Canal Skip. I don't expect to get it, but we're gonna go for it. So first of all, we have to get out of bounds by doing a very tricky kick glitch. And it might not look like we're out of bounds, but we are. Things have collision, but this is kind of semi out of bounds. We can go super out of bounds in a sec here. And yeah, you can definitely tell this is out of bounds. And what my goal is to run to the end of this and do a very tricky kick glitch chain into a checkpoint trigger. If I get it, it saves about 40 seconds. If I don't, it's no big deal. If I miss it, it will lose roughly a minute, and I got it, so quite happy about that. That skips quite a long, boring section of going through vents and just a straight running section. So we're in the storm drains now. Storm drains is the next part of the game. One of my favorite parts, actually. Filled with a lot of tight movement and boosts. It also might be very dark. That doesn't last for too long. Those poles there that are red, you're meant to, like, they're like balance beams, you're meant to balance across them, but if you just do frame perfect jumps off of them, you can skip those animations. There we do a little springboard skip to save some time. That's a sniper. I'm just going to avoid him. Here, to skip about 10 seconds of running, I'm going to do a hidden springboard. So essentially those things you saw where there's stacked boxes, one in front of the other, one smaller and one bigger, and they're red, those are called springboards, and they're supposed to launch you up in the air. But the thing is, they're not hard-coded into the game. There are a bunch of little hidden springboards that you can do. And that is, I think, the only one we use. Might be another one that I'm forgetting. Alright, we're out of the storm drains. The storm drains exit here. Got a pipe climbing section. Fortunately, there's no way to skip pipes in this game. There's about 2 sections you have to climb with pipes. Quite annoying, but you can skip this big section of pipe climbing by doing the storm drains exit climb, which involves jumping on rails and climbing up a little elevator shaft or the edge of an elevator. Little waiting sequence here. Gotta wait for this platform to rise. It's one of the few breaks you get in this game. It's very full on. Alright, there's a bunch of guards up here. It's meant to be an intense fight, but you just, since we play on easy, they don't bother you. Just jump past them. And gonna do another elevator clip here. And we are going to fall into a load zone here. And that is going to save about 5 seconds. So this section's called the jackknife chase, and that's jackknife. And essentially you have to chase him through this, and if you're too slow the level will restart. But we just clip through that elevator and skip chasing jackknife altogether. He just stands in that T position the entire time. If you listen carefully, you can actually hear him running through these sections, but you can't see him. If you could see him, he would be teleporting all over the place because we go too fast. Ah, that sucks. Hopefully I can get this back up. Yep. Another thing in this game is barbed wire damage. If you get damaged off of barbed wire, you can get a jump off of it. Unfortunately, I didn't go far enough there, but if I did, I would have got a nice damage and a jump off it. Anyway, here I'm going to try a trick called a beamer. It's a 1-frame trick. I didn't get it, unfortunately, so it's a small time save in this section. We can just kick glitch across if we don't get it, but you'll see another instance of a beamer later, and I'll explain it then. So there we just kick glitch to the end of the level and hit the level trigger from the other side. You meant to go around there, but you don't do that in a speedrun because it's slow. Anyway, that's chapter 2, this is chapter 3. And I'm gonna... There's 2 difficult skips in this chapter. One at the start, one at the end. I'm gonna attempt both of them. Hopefully I'll get one, at least this first one. This first one's the one that matters the most. If you miss it, you lose quite a bit of time. But for safety, I'm going to grab a checkpoint further on in the level, so I don't waste too much time if I miss it. This is called 3 out of 3 ski skip. Normally you would go through this long vent section and, you know, run through an office section. We don't really want to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to climb up the side of the building using a very precise climbing technique. I'm just going to shut up for a sec. That's a very difficult climb. And then we're going to do a very, very difficult kick glitch chain. And hopefully we can hit a... We got it! Alright, that's fantastic. That's actually a really difficult skip. That saves about 40 seconds. And yeah, essentially you have to get a really precise kick glitch chain and get a super good wall boost into a loading trigger, or a checkpoint trigger rather. and that skips a lot of this level. Yeah, we're going to do a little kick glitch to skip a small section of parkour. That also skips a trigger for guards, so we don't have to worry about guards when doing this section. Otherwise it's very likely that they'll kill us, but... And, yeah, the red doors you see me kicking through, I'm either going to jump kick or crouch punch them, because it's a lot faster than just running through and breaking them down. So it's just small optimizations like that. Make this game really fast. Alright, this trick is pixel perfect, frame perfect, almost timing perfect. It's called Crane's Kick Glitch. I don't expect to get it, there is a backup for it, but I'm gonna at least try it a little bit. I'll explain it at the end of this level. If I get it, that will be really insane. Nope, didn't get it. Gonna go for it maybe like 3 more times. It's actually quicker to just kill yourself here. Because you spawn back up the top. Saves a little bit. Anyway, I'll give it 2 more goes. Nope. No, alright. Unfortunately I didn't get it. Essentially, you can kick glitch across that gap. Let me just focus on this back up here for a second. Essentially, you can kick glitch across that gap, and you need what's called a speedy kick glitch, which is a frame perfect kick glitch. Frame perfect, pixel perfect, and almost timing perfect, and you can only just barely make it across to the other side. So, didn't expect to get it, but that's okay. Walrus did get it first try in ESA, and it shocked me when I saw that.
Hey, can you get a message to Miller? I need to see him.
Yeah, I don't even have it first try in my PB. Only 2 people have done it in their runs, I think. And one of them's me, and I got it like 3rd try. Walrus doesn't even have it in his PB, but it's an insane trick. Alright, so I believe the donation incentive for kill Ropeburn was the winner. So what we're going to do is we're going to kill Ropeburn. I'm going to do, slightly modified version of a skip here. Normally you would do a skip that skips Ropeburn, and essentially that would, save him, since you don't actually kill him. But what we're going to do is we're going to go straight to Ropeburn, and we are going to murder him. Where am I? Why didn't I kill Ropeburn? Hold on. Hold on. Did I hit the wrong trigger? I hit the wrong trigger. That's shameful. You know what? Just for you, we're gonna kill Ropeburn. So this is Ropeburn. We skip him in the normal any % route. Basically, there's a quick time event and then a cutscene. And Ropeworm falls off the edge and dies, and that's him. The police are coming to get him and everything. So, gonna continue on our merry way. Do a skip here. Actually, I'm in chapter run mode. I have to go back to story mode to continue this. Sorry for that little hiccup. Regardless, it does not matter. You get to see more of the level. So, Ropeburn's dead. Ropeburn's alive in our hearts. It would explain the story as to why he dies, but I don't really care for the story that much. And it would just waste time. Little skip to jump over that barbed wire fence. Rip air users. Alright, now we're back onto the regular route. So, this is the subway section. We're gonna do a bunch of wall boosts here. We're gonna wait for this train. We're gonna... Normally in the 80% route you'd be able to skip that train by doing a bunch of wall boosts, but it's a bit too risky when you come from the other way. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get second train skip. That's okay. So normally you're meant to wait in these little notches for the train to come so it won't kill you, but you can actually jump up on the side here. Saves a bit of time. Some tight movement, another button glitch. Or use glitch rather, so we can stop these fans. And here's a long boring section where we have to wait on a train. Takes about a minute-ish. It's kind of the, you know, middle of the run. It's like the resting point. It's like a break halfway through. You do have to avoid some stuff, but it's not difficult. Fun fact, the trains in this tunnel aren't actually moving, it's the tunnels around you that are moving. Right at the beginning and end is the only parts with the train moving. If you, like, say grab here or jump here, the train isn't flinging you back because it's not the train moving, but at the beginning and end the train is moving, so if you grab or jump you'll just fall off the back of the train and die. So normally I'm meant to ride this train right to the end, but we just get stuck on this sign and go straight through the door to the exit. Alright, chapter 4. That's chapter 4 done. This is chapter 5. Gonna do quite a tricky kick glitch here. Let's hope I get it first try. Yeah, I did. So we have to kick glitch off the side of that building and land on an invisible wall. That's, you know, about as, you know, thick as faith. That sounded weird. You gotta land on that and roll on it and not fall off, otherwise you'll die. It's quite tricky to get the hang of. So we gotta go slow through this hallway, because this is a console port, and if you go too fast, this next elevator will actually not load, and you have to go from the start again. I missed the elevator clip. It's no big deal. There is one thing I didn't explain, actually. I can explain it later. So we're gonna do a kick glitch off a pole here. It's quite hard to get a hang of because it's so thin, the pole, but little practice, it's not too bad. It's skipped having to go down the bottom and climb pipes to get to the top. We're gonna do a double kick glitch here. Basically, 2 kick glitches on the same wall. It's not the easiest trick in the world. This is the pipe elevator shaft, but we're gonna skip the pipes completely by doing pipeless elevator, which basically hits a trigger that's attached to the pipe without you actually climbing on it. Some more unavoidable pipes. Pipes suck. Alright. I think that's the end of pipes in this game. Not the end of vents, but the end of pipes, I believe. Oop. Alright, so we're gonna go around to the right here, so we can get some wall boosts and do a little bit of AI manipulation. We're gonna go for a chain here. Didn't get it. You could do a kick glitch chain to skip this area. Or go through it a bit faster. Another hidden springboard. See if we can get the fillow. We got the fillow. Beautiful. Alright, coming up is a trick called More Beamer. It uses a trick called a beamer. And what that is a 1-frame trick where you either climb a wall and you hit a small bump on the wall. You can be vertical or horizontal, but the speed one's vertical, I think. I don't know. But if you hit that bump and you do an animation such as a quick turn or a sidestep off of it, it'll fling you backwards really, really fast. It'll give you insane amounts of speed. That allows us to skip an elevator and get that little bit extra height. Alright, not bad. It's a 1-frame trick. We can do a quick turn and jump off it and speed vault up there. And there, that's the trick I was talking about earlier. That's called a neutral kick. And we do that to skip having to do rolls in certain spots. It's used quite a bit throughout the run, and basically it just what it is playing an animation, so it can't do the hard landing animation. Do it again there. Damn, I missed. Let's try again. You can jump into that vent a little bit, just make it go a little bit faster. Alright, that's chapter 5 done. On to chapter 6, the factory. We go through most of the factory. We skip about a third of it, I'd say. Hitting a load trigger early. I'm gonna get a checkpoint trigger here for safety. Didn't need it, but what you have to do is you have to jump off that railing and jump onto an invisible wall and roll off it so it doesn't kill you. And now we're out of bounds, so you have to carefully navigate your way. It's out of bounds space, kick into a load trigger, and the factory will load around you. And what we can do is we can hit this button from outside the wall, which skips having to go inside that room. And do a trick here where we grab onto this so we don't die, so we can skip a little parkour puzzle. Another neutral kick. Some double wall boosts. So rip ear users. There's a couple spots in this game where what you can do is you can free scroll some interactable buttons, and that makes certain sequences and animations just go a little bit faster. But in some spots it can also overlap the sound, and that makes it really loud. You heard one instance of it. There's going to be another one later on. That's quite loud. I'll warn you. Don't worry. Alright, we just skipped all the training by doing a pretty tricky wall climb turn jump. It's not too tricky, but quite some practice. More kick glitches, more wall boosts. This game is full of them. Especially if you know what you're doing. You can squeeze in kick glitch or wall boost pretty much anywhere. That's another hidden springboard. Unfortunately, we missed the kick glitch. But we got a checkpoint trigger. And then we zip line onto the train. And we land on the train. It doesn't hurt at all. We're fine. We're totally fine.
I'm going after that guy.
I think I'd probably break a couple ribs if I tried that. But anyway, here's the boat. Obligatory boat joke. If you don't know what that means, essentially this chapter's called The Boat, and we skip the entire boat. This chapter starts and finishes outside the boat. So what we can do is we can get out of bounds and run to where the chapter finishes and hit that checkpoint trigger. And that saves maybe 3-ish minutes. Fall into the trigger there, quit out and reload. And we're at the end. At the Celeste fight, the first bit of real combat. We have to punch her a bunch of times and disarm her. Another reason we play on easy is because this takes 6 hits rather than 9. You can do it in 5 actually, which is interesting. Anyway, that's the boss battle. The first boss battle, I guess. And we're in chapter 8. My favorite chapter, since I'm a chapter 8 god. So those are runner cops. You might have seen them in chapter 6 if you were paying attention, but they're not too threatening. The gimmick is they can run as fast as you, and they can also do parkour like you. But you know, we are beyond the limits of faith, and we can just run right past them. They don't really bother us. There's a reggae Vader. Got a bob your head in it, because it's sick reggae music. Alright, gonna do a pole kick glitch here. to do some pipe climbing skips. We're gonna do here what's called an alt climb. We did one earlier, but essentially you use your hint key, which is alt by default. I know a lot of people rebind it, I don't, but it's also got a hint climb, and that kind of forces your camera to snap to one position. You can climb objects. That was an out of bounds skip. Not much I could say about that. Here's the Atrium. Very movement heavy parkour climbing section. Tried to do a little skip there called Atrium. It was found by an ape. It's called an infinite wall climb, which basically means you wall climb infinitely. Missed it twice now. That's sad. Wow. This is a poor effort. There we go. Section's mostly about getting super tight wall boosts and speed vaults everywhere. We're gonna do a vent skip here, called Ventrium, because this is the Atrium and it skips the Atrium vents. We have to get up to the top out of bounds first. We're doing a climb up here. And another climb up here. And we're gonna line ourselves up and jump into a checkpoint. Now here is the second and last bit of forced quote-unquote combat. You have to shoot a gun once. You have to shoot a sniper rifle at a truck. So what we're gonna do is kill ourselves, and that'll spawn the truck's hitbox early. But the problem is it's behind a wall, so you have to position yourself correctly and aim at the wall and shoot. And you've shot the truck. That wall has no collision. At least on that side of the wall. It's called a wall bang. It's a big descent section here with a bunch of stairs that you're meant to run down with guards blocking you, but you could just roll off. The roll animation gives the same effect as the kick glitch. And that's chapter 8 done. Chapter 9. This is the last chapter of the game. A lot of indoor sections. One big skip, a couple of minor ones. Lots of strats. Alright, rip headphone users, or big warning to them. This will be loud. Or it might not have been, hopefully it wasn't too loud, but if you free scroll that valve, it triggers the explosion that happens in that room to occur quicker. Alright, now we're coming up to super duper extended bev skip. Theorized and found by yours truly and Heckigan. There was another way to do this skip, but we discovered you can do elevator clips by coiling into elevators instead of backflipping. It's impossible to backflip clip into this one, so we do what's called a coil clip, and that gets us on top of this elevator. And if we line ourselves up right, run off, do a bunch of pausing, we can actually get a room much later into the game to load around us. We run to the end trigger, and we've just skipped a huge elevator shaft vent section. That saves over a minute over the regular route. And I'll skip here. Climb out of bounds. It's called sniper skip because it skips the sniper area. What we're going to do is we're going to run and jump on this stim seam. Can't run on it because you'll just fall off because it's too thin to stand on. but if you constantly jump, it allows you to stay on it. Messing up movement here doesn't matter because you gotta wait for these doors to open. We're gonna do another coil clip here. Ah, I missed it. That's alright. This game is full of skips. Lots and lots of skips, lots of tricks. But a lot of them don't really save a lot of time, actually. A lot of longer games, not all, but quite a bit tend to have, like, you know, maybe one big sweet sequence break. Can't really do that in this since it's, you know, a level game, but there's tons of small skips that save maybe 5 to 10 seconds each, such as this one, saves about 10ish, I think. It's called server room skip. You're meant to do this epic sequence where you shoot all these servers, but you can just kind of ignore that and clip over the top. You shoot the servers and that, you know, overrides the door lock. You can continue, but yeah. And this is the end of the game. Get ready on time. It's going to be in about 30 seconds. Long cutscene here, but if you quit out and continue game, it skips the entire cutscene. So get ready on that time. Time will end when I grab the helicopter. Time. That was the final boss battle. Kick Jackknife out of the helicopter. Jackknife was the person we chased earlier on in the game. You don't really see him that much, but he's the main antagonist. So, yeah. Here's Edge. Just beat the video game. Yeah, the whole story of this game was you meant to save your sister because she's been framed for a murder and then she's been put in jail. So that's why you have this heartwarming cutscene of you, I guess, saving her after you just murdered, like, Jackknife and the helicopter pilot in cold blood by crashing them into the building that you're standing on that's like 100 stories tall. That's the end of the game. That's the ending credits. 40-50. Shit, that's overestimate. Shouldn't have gone for Crane's kick glitch. That wasted a bunch of time. Oh well. Still fine. My loads were a little bit longer than they usually are. Anyway, that was Mirror's Edge. Thanks for watching.